Her like presence, and it's just so, you should talk so softly and beautifully, and I'll tell you, you know, it's like, I feel so blessed to be a best friend of yours, because it's just like, you have this peace, and I'm going to take issue with what you said for a minute, because what, at dinner, actually, no, what I'm saying is that there was no problem, you know, when you felt God's presence. That's what Judy does. She feels God's presence. And it was quiet enough within her and within this group of friends that she's so close with that she could let it out and cry because she was feeling it. And that's important in peace. See, we can't fake peace. You know, you can't. If you got stuff going on, and Judy got stuff going on, you know, you got stuff going on, you know, anybody that's living in your backyard, okay? You know, and if you're safe in a safe spot, and she was with people that she loved, you know, then the tears start to fall, you know, and that's what you have to acknowledge, you know, your feelings. And I think that we teach that here all the time, that when stuff goes on in your life, you know, you got to embrace it and love yourself through it, because that's life. You know, that's peace too. Peace isn't just sitting, feeling the presence of God. That's wonderful. I thought this morning was just wonderful, and I love to feel the energy of that. But I know that we have to accept, you said it, everything that comes, whatever it is. You accept it. Doesn't mean you have to love everything, but you do have to, you know, embrace it, I guess, embrace what comes. Thomas Merton, I love him. He was a Trappist monk, and he said that we're not at peace with others because we're not at peace with ourselves. And we're not at peace with ourselves because we're not at peace with God. And I had to think, what does that mean? Peace with God, you know? So ask yourself, are you at peace with God? And of course, to do that, you have to ask, what's God to you? You know, what is God? And to me, it's the energy of life. It's what life is God. So we have to say, are we really at peace with life on life's terms, like Judy said? You know, are we accepting of what's happening in the moment? You know, are we resisting the moment, as Eckhart Tolle says? And I know that for me, when I am feeling God, you know, that means God is in the forefront. God's right here. God's with every breath. When I'm feeling the peace, I can see God in each person here. I see it in you, Lily, and in you, Pat. I see it. But when the chaos happens, when everything hits, when the thoughts happen, then somehow in my mind, the God in me goes to the background and the chaos comes to the foreground. See, the truth is that God's always there, but do we place our energy, you know, on the, is he in the fore, or he, I say he, but I mean the energy of whatever you want to call it. You know, is it in the front of you? Are you in your God space, or is it in the back? And it's something for us to look at. Here's what else he said that I like, what he says about God. He says that, and I'm talking about Thomas Merton. He says, life is this simple. We are living in a world that is absolutely transparent, and God is shining through at all times. This is not just a nice story or a fable. It's true. If we abandon ourselves to God and forget about our ego, we see it sometimes. We see it frequently. He's talking about God. God shows God everywhere, in everything, in people, in nature, in events. It becomes very obvious that God is everywhere and in everything, and we cannot possibly be without God. See, God is life. God is in every, I think Butterworth says we move and live and have our being in God. God is in every cell in our body. God is in the air right here. We're in God. It's like the fish in water. You can't jump out. You're there. God's here. You know, that's what God is. So our job then is to recognize that, is to place our energies in the forefront, you know, of the whatever we're in, whatever event that we're in. It's funny how Judy and I, our lives parallel so crazy. It's funny. They always have, ever since we've met. And I have a crazy house too, and I live with my family too. And I've got extended family that comes in whenever they want, you know. And so, you know, there's 8 of us, and then my other daughter lives, and she comes in. So we have extended family. We have, you know, our you know, our, what's the word, regular family, core family, you know, whatever. And we have dogs and cats, and we have people that are always in and out anyway. So it's like, and when nobody's there, everybody's on their cell phones talking to somebody else. So it's like, my gosh, it's just this crazy place. So it was funny because yesterday I was working on this talk, and I'm at my computer trying to work on this peace talk, and all of a sudden I hear just chaos out in the house, and I hear the, up and downstairs, the kids are going up and down, and the doorbell's ringing, and the dogs are barking, and here I'm trying to work on this peace talk. And I had to kind of laugh at myself, and I'm going, and we just had this Eckhart Tolle class, and this Eckhart Tolle class said, what he said was, if you're not at peace, or in acceptance, or joy, or enthusiasm, you are contributing to the dysfunction of the world. Right? And I'm going, oh boy, I'm really contributing to this dysfunction, because I was nowhere in joy, I was nowhere in enthusiasm, and I wasn't even accepting of it. So I had to look at that for a minute, because that's our lesson here. Look at, the moment you're in, right? Now, I either could, what he says is, you can basically get out of the moment if you can. I couldn't get out. I mean, what am I going to do? Go outside? It was cold, And so what I did was I took a breath, and I chose then to shut my door, actually lock it so nobody could come in, and put on a little bit of music, take a deep breath, and say, okay, I'm going to make this intention. I'm going to feel the presence of God. Now, that's not easy to do all the time, but it works. It's like we set the intention this morning, we would feel the presence of God. That's what we did, and it works. So that's what I'm telling you, is that sometimes, life is chaotic. God, where I would love God to be in the forefront, God happened to push himself in the back. And here I am with all of this chaos. So my intention is bring God back. Bring that presence, that quiet presence back into your life. And you have to make the intention to do it. You have to do it. See, and to do that, you have to say, God is the energy of life, and is the benevolent, the loving energy of life. That's important. And I thought about this because, when you're a kid, you just, at least for me, I had an uncle that just loved me no matter what. My mom and dad loved me, but he was always there for me. And it's like, I could run to him, he would hold me and rock me, and he was just this wonderful presence in my life. And I thought about how we get older. And every so often, through a couple husbands and things, I've had that, but most of the time, there is one steady presence that will hug you and love you no matter what, right? And the truth is, there is, if we allow that. That's what the God presence is. God presence is the presence that loves you in your life. Whether you're male, female, whatever you are, you've got a presence, a higher power in you that loves you, that is always with you, that guides you, that's intelligent, that's filled with joy, with power, which can guide you. And we can all count on that. That's what the quiet presence we're talking about is. It's inside each and every one of us if we remember, if we breathe, get quiet, and know it's there. And the more we do that, if you do that every morning, and I do try, I've told everybody, that I get up in the morning and I really try to just feel God so that I can face the house. It's a good house. I love my house. But you really got to do that before you face the world, right? Before you face the world, you've got to get prayed up. That's what I call it. You've got to fill with God. You've got to fill with God, no matter how you do it. And it's probably different for everybody. I don't know. The music does it for me. Sometimes it's the Beatles music. I have to be honest with you. It's not just sacred music, but it's music that gets my, self just feeling it inside. That's what it is. Or it's reading a sacred passage, or it's reading poetry. What is it for you that makes you feel the presence of every cell in your body just gleaming with God? Because it's there. God is there. And we just need to find it. That's the presence. So when I don't have the presence of my uncle anymore, and I don't have the presence of my husband, then I have the presence of God. And actually, that will always be with you, right? That will always be with you. So, I've got a lot more to say, and I'm not going to say it because I don't want to go on and on. But I will tell you that the one thing we got to do is commit. We got to set that intention, and we got to commit. To say, this is how we want to live our life. We want peace. You have to set peace as a deep intention if you want it. I see so many times that we go out and we gripe and we're upset about this and that, and we haven't even sat down and been quiet for a moment to say how we want to live. we got to replace what we are feeling with God. So, you know, the answer is your intention every day of feeling God, feeling that presence. If you don't like the word God, you know, use the presence, use the absolute. There's tons of words for God. Love. I use love a lot because I want to feel love, okay? So set that deep intention that you do it. And set a sacred space. There, even anywhere you are, you can set some kind of sacred space inside of you. You can take a breath. You can go to the ocean. You can go to the park. There's many places that you can leave. We can leave our houses if we really want to, right? And feel it if we can't do it there. You have to create your safe space, you know, and it's important that you have that. It's important that you have that. And then when you are still and you're starting to feel it, keep it going. Rest in God. I love the Course in Miracles says, rest in God. And I love that word. It's just like, to me, I feel like, okay, the world out here, and I can rest in God's arms. It kind of brings me back to when I was a, you know, born-again Baptist, but, you know, I got over that. And then I think of resting in God differently now than I did back then. Now I can just go, you know, God, you know, it's the energy, it's the love, and I rest in love. So if you like that better, say that. So we have to be still, and then the last word that is so important is trust. You got to trust this. You know, that's what faith is, really. You know, it's doing the work. It's not just, you know, pretending, but it's doing your actions. You have to set the intention. You have to play the music. You have to, you know, do it. You're right. You put the action in. You move your feet, and then you wait and you trust that there's something bigger than you. And I swear to God, there's something bigger than every one of you ever thought that there was inside of you. There's something huge that nobody can ever touch. Nothing, any situation you've been through will never touch the power that you have inside of you. Nothing. I swear, I just promise you this. I know this about it. That no matter what, if it's pain, if it's death, if it's divorce, nothing can touch that piece of you. Nothing. And so if we always know that and we trust that it's there, it will get us through anything in life. So we take that trust and then we carry it to our daily life. Everything that you're going through in life, when you're meeting somebody at the grocery store, the bank, you take that with it. You take that trust and you take that power of God and you take that peace out into the world. And that's what changes the world. You know, we don't change it by battling. We look at the battles within and dissolve them and love ourselves and then take that peace out to the world. That's what changes the world. And that's my prayer for each and every one of us this whole holiday season. If we don't see you till after, you know, Christmas, that's my prayer, is that your Christmas is more than, you know, the gifts that and the shopping and all this, is that it's the power of knowing that your presence is peace, deep, deep peace. I love that song. That's what your presence is. And once you feel the peace, you'll feel the joy and you'll feel the love. Thank you.